Welcome and good evening, dear listeners, to the Dreaming Prophet. Now, I hope that tonight you brought your latex gloves because we're going to be doing something a little different. You've heard of mask names, those mysterious code names we use for our frenemy daemons? Well, we're doing something better than just mask names. We're making mask flames with tonight's featured daemon Dance For Us. Because you see, Vikings honored their dead through cremation.
You can't burn other people's masks just because you don't have one yet.
Shut up and go back to drawing on pie tins, xaviul. My name is Lavanya.
I'm Astro.
And I'm xaviul.
This is a Blackout Club show for Blackout Club players with minimal speculation, all lore, and a focus on the known facts. Our topic of the day is the god Dance For Us.
As always, the Dreaming Prophet is not spoiler-free. It is not organic. It is not free-range. We are full of contaminants and information that you may not wish to know, but you are going to learn anyway. In terms of our content warnings tonight, since we are dealing with the lovely Dance For Us, of course, we have to warn you for death. We also have to warn you for sick beats, grinding on cop cars, more death, and possibly, but not definitely, the inclusion of dubstep.
And tonight we have with us another special guest. Returning once more, we have Leia.
Hey, I'm Leia. You can find me on Twitter at @LeighaSolo and as a host on the Red Acre Neighborhood Watch. Also on Twitter at Red Acre Watch. A fun fact, I love Star Wars so much that I have 2 dogs named R2 and Wookiee.
And Leia will be leading us, almost guiding us through tonight's topic, which is Dance For Us. Dance For Us is one of the several daemons that make up the pantheon of Red Acre's very special religious episode.
Now, Dance For Us as a daemon has a lot of names. For the spoken name that Red Acre knows her as, it's Dance For Us. But she has a lot of mask names as well, like the Dancer, the Diva, and, you know, my personal favorite, the Hedonist.
Mask names are important. Speaking the name of a daemon will draw their attention, so mask names embody their concept, who they are, without dragging them into the conversation. It's a mask over their true face, if you will.
Dance For Us's true name, of course, is Grind On Car in Old Tongue. Dance For Us has existed for centuries, but was the strongest of all the daemons at her death. Per the Idare, a state described as being ascendant.
Dance For Us is a daemon of an unknown domain. Most of them, we have a general idea or guess, or else they won't stop fucking telling us exactly what their business is. Not talking about in her teeth, but I could be talking about in her teeth here. Dance For Us, however, gives us a little bit of a hint with her name, in that she's heavily associated with dancing. While all of the daemons are associated with dancing and music to an extent, this is basically her big thing. But it's not her only thing. When a player was concerned about what Dance For Us would think of their singing, the idea stated that she's more than just a pretty voice that sings ballad and grinds on wrecking balls. She's about boldness. She has depths. We don't see them often, but they're there.
She stated she spent millennia designing the moon, and other daemons stated she'd often teach her followers things while they were asleep. This practical use of dreams seems to be uncommon among daemons.
She was also heavily associated with the Old Tongue, one of the few daemons to be so from the start. One of the recording missions involves drawing her symbol and forcing enemies inside to endlessly perform Chase the Sun. And she was a student avid enough of it that it drew Speak as One's ire. She also is the implied creator of dance, who drew it from Old Tongue. To quote Note, Old Tongue was,
Quote, sort of physical glyphic poses, in time with proto-musical vocalizations synced up. A modern mind might still think, they're dancing, right? Or is that martial arts? To see it happening between groups of primates on their way to being people, but it sure doesn't look fun. Anyone not in the group would be creeped out. Dance For Me, later Dance For Us, revolutionized all that and turned it, well, cool. End quote.
Dance For Us just pulled up in her Corvette, pulled her shades up to her head. It's like, hey kids, want to learn something cool?
Dance for Us was one of the first gods to appear in game all the way back in beta, and just like with creating dance, she was the first of a lot of things. She was the first daemon to start off an event in which she asked players to pray for her, and in return they received the gift of dance. So she was the first daemon to actually do something for the Blackout Club in terms of material or metaphysical material gains.
Precious memories. And with that, we will turn to her history. Dance for Us is one of the more mysterious daemons. We don't know too much about her. She rarely interacted much with the other daemons and largely seemed disinterested in them, showing clear ambivalence towards the idea during its fragmented state and towards the rest, even during the initial birth of the pact. Hashtag goals.
How can we bottle up that apathy and forcibly vaccinate the remaining daemons with it? Asking for a friend.
Null said that Dance for Us was originally, quote, much more twisted, end quote.
Which is pretty fucking intriguing if you ask me. In the distant past, it turned out that Dance for Us was once named Dance for Me. She purposely chose to change her name to its current state as Dance for Us. We don't know the exact motivations behind it, but some of the other daemons have some theories because while she doesn't talk to them much, they won't shut the fuck up about her. Speak as One described Dance for Us's name change as appealing to humanity, a soft sell meant to garner followers. It was pretty derisive, it seems pretty biased, but honestly, Speak as One is probably just jealous that they didn't think of it first.
Wow, Lavanya, are you trying to say that Speak as One could be biased against the other voices?
I would never say that, but I would heavily imply it while refusing to make eye contact.
Vi Dare said that her current flippant persona is a mask, and Dance for Us herself admitted that she was more selfish in the past, advising her followers not to trust her forever. After all, relationships change, and in the past, she treated mortals like playthings. Drink the Sky is an emote in-game that Vi Dare says is a story of her famous appetite in Old Tongue back when she was Dance for Me. According to Knoll, quote, people projected a god of more personal indulgence, end quote, onto her, and she was said to drink the sky. It's one of the only initial Old Tongue gestures, and it is currently the only one with a musical cue, one taken from the theme song.
Now for some meta knowledge. Dance for Me seemed like such a cool concept, and some players wondered if Dance for Us could ever be reverted to that state.
Null replied, quote, a lot of folks follow her who would just find all the gray or blue-orange morality exhausting, end quote.
Null also made a few more comments about her general character concept, which, if you ask me, are pretty fucking nifty. Quote, Dance for Us changed in-world canon prior to the events of TBC. She is based on a much less positive character, but we already had plenty of edginess in our pantheon. We needed some folks who inspire, other feelings, end quote.
And finally, there are a lot of questions about Drink the Sky, since it does follow the command format of a god name. That can get a little bit confusing, but the community has received several gentle nudges in the right direction. Quote, DTS, as in the name of the gesture, was too misleading. It is part of Dance for Us's mythos from when she was Dance for Me. Dance for Me was nasty, but most of the voices were in prehistory, end quote.
In modern times here in Redacre, Dance for Us was one of the rarer gods, but even if she didn't appear much in-game, her influence saturated it. Early in the game, there was a journal called Dancing Sickness. It detailed a chorus report from 2 sleepers questioned by a lucid.
In the report, the sleepers said they found children dancing in the woods. Sleeper A stated that there were fighting sounds, it was clear. Sleeper B stated that the first sleeper was lying, but they were mating sounds. In the end, the lucid realized the truth. It was dancing.
The youth these days with their dances.
Twerk it.
At the end of the log, Gwen lets the club kids go with a warning. If you party with Dance for Us, before you go to bed, ask her to dance where nobody's watching. However, it's worth noting that we never received solid confirmation this was Dance for Us. At the time this journal first appeared, Hunt the Strong had hardly been mentioned at all.
As time went on, the Idair tried to form what we now refer to as the Pact or the Alliance. Multiple gods working together with the goal of ultimately defeating the Hunter and defeating Speak as One. Right from the get-go, the Idair wanted Dance for Us in the Alliance. He asked her chosen and his followers to talk to her. Many did. There's a public dream where she asks players what they think she should do. Although she had heard he changed, she was not totally convinced.
However, despite the repeated waves of player inquiries, Dance for Us still resisted joining Bless Her Non-Existent Heart. The cause was speculated heavily. The idea went as far as to say she was avoiding him, but he did not speculate on why. Probably too depressing. He later reflected that, well, maybe if she believed she had been lied to, she might have a valid reason to avoid him. I don't know, if you ask me, if it was about lies, it might have just been the fact the pact was founded by the prince of them.
On one hand, the Idair will say over and over again that he invented the lie. On the other hand, he just can't understand why they don't trust him. And of course, then we have the recording mission. Around this time, a new mission was added to the game, Record Behavior. This mission featured Dance for Us's symbol, painted on the ground in the maze. Players were assigned to set up red glowing devices around the symbol, which look kind of like tiny versions of the acoustic barriers that block off the map. Enemies who walked into the circle would be trapped in it, performing an endless loop of the gesture Chase the Sun until it was recorded. After that, they would kneel unless disturbed.
The Idair mentioned at one point that while she was continuing to evade meeting, she was trying to finish something, teaching some sort of dance. He said he didn't understand what it was or why, and players didn't either, so it was let go without so much as a passing thought.
As time went on, we began to sink neck deep into the witness plotline and the mystery surrounding the murder of Chase the Sun. We discovered that the sign for the recording mission was, in fact, this dead god's name in the old tongue. Pretty scandalous. And never, ever explained.
Don't worry about it.
I'm worrying about it.
Enter someone new. A known caller appeared on the scene in early September, texting players with cryptic messages. In a dream, last mentioned a car blasting drum and bass music, which pulled up to the home of Colum Ryan's sister and sister-in-law. When players started looking for the car, a known caller appeared, sternly smacking them down by saying, "Tell your idiot friends to stop looking for my car."
Unknown caller had information about the witness plotline, but they just weren't willing to share it out with anyone who professed allegiance to a demon. What a dick, right? The unknown caller themselves seemed to think that unlike the rural, rowdy, rough wood children of Redacre, they alone were not currently hosting a daemon. Or at the very least, they seemed to think that they were taking enough precautions to ensure that the daemon couldn't puppet them around. They talked pretty frequently about locking themselves in their car trunk. Seems unpleasant.
Sorry, unknown caller. They were actually hosting Dance for Us, and she was doing something with them. She told the kids in a godcast, informing them that unknown caller was under her protection, and that they weren't quite as mean as they seem. By pointing out the caller this way, Dance for Us became one of the only gods who very obviously cared about what happened to Chase the Sun. Many were horrified by her death, but few stepped up to search for clues.
Then came Dance Fever. We got another new mission. Dance Fever encouraged kids to pick up a flash drive, download it to their phones, then run rampant through the town for a minute, forcing enemies to dance to a very catchy tune. Because it's dancing, we all assumed it was another Dance for Us mission. For the most part, we didn't question it.
By now, the hunter had been prowling around on occasion, and some naughty child had mentioned the unknown caller to him. The hunter's response? He said he'd absolutely love to get inside that head. Pretty fucked up. And it turns out he very well did, because within a few weeks, Unknown Caller was sending out emergency messages to the children of Redacre. A dead man's switch, for those not in the know, is a switch that you have to check in with routinely. If you miss one of those check-ins, it'll send off an automatic message. In Unknown Caller's case, they did not check in, and as a result, it texted the children with a note that something had happened to the caller, which probably involved the hunter.
And then, of course, no one can forget the Dance for Us versus Hunt the Strong interaction. Dance for Us visited a group of her followers. She wanted to inspire and embolden them and thank them for continuing to spread her message and just hang out. She offered them a dance party and they agreed. So she activated the dance party music mission. However, after it played for a while, she revealed she'd never heard it before.
She tried to take the team to the moon to speak with them further, but upon arriving, the moon that we all knew had become something completely different. The starry sky and serene blue-gray tint was replaced with red glow and a swirling black hole.
Dance for Us said, "This isn't our place." Hunt the Strong replied, "No, it's mine." This was the first encounter we had ever seen two voiced gods speak to each other at the same time. They played out a scene in front of the team where Dance for Us talked about fear and power, shouted down, "Hunt the Strong," and then instructed the kids to say, "I fear nothing" to him. Then Hunt the Strong revealed he had a secret weapon. He knew the old tongue.
So for the kids in the back who may be tuning in for the very first episode of The Dreaming Prophet, or just don't remember every single piece of lore we throw at your head, Old Tongue is the powerful language that's linked to pre-conscious humanity and stems from the daemons, or the daemons stem from it, because technically speaking, they're made of it. When asked about how exactly Dance for Us died, Noel summarized it in this way.
Quote, "No voice can explain this, so it's your lucky day. The hunter appeared to Dance for Us chosen hosts as a slender dancing figure, taught them parts of his name in dreams. That music was just a convenient trigger to make them remember it after waking. Sleepers and lucids don't fully host Dance for Us, so they respond with a meaningless reflex now. The damage is done, host and chosen either now belong to the hunter, or he can contact them more easily." End quote.
Using the Old Tongue, Hunt the Strong ate Dance for Us, taking control of all of her adult hosts in the process. He even informed the team of players who watched the event, composed primarily of her followers, that they now belong to him, because it's always important to remember human are chattel, that the voices pass between them, fucking apparently.
The last time he ate someone, it was Chase the Sun, but Noel has clarified that these two incidents had slightly different results. Quote, "He didn't take Dance for Us's position in meaning, drew a little influence from her but not enough to alter his name, whereas with Chase, he ate her whole competition domain." End quote.
This gives some pretty serious implications for Dance for Us hosts and chosen. I always assumed that for her hosts, this meant that they suddenly felt competitive and had the need to seek out strength without knowing what was going on. But in a convo with the Idare, he talked about one of Dance for Us's hosts, Stanek, Belle's music teacher, and that she knew, at least a little.
The Idare said to Leia, "The teacher, Stanek, found us. She is despondent, so lost now. Taught Isabella hosted the lost one."
Right, I wasn't sure if they'd be able to tell, or if they'd just think that he was who they worshipped.
She was not fully aware even before. The loss of Belle's set her back. They never got to compare notes, but she says she would wake out of nowhere in a library or storage locker. Recordings, books, the Old Tongue. My lost sibling was way ahead of him, the hunter. Strongest in many ways, it seems. End quote.
There are also some implications for Dance for Us chosen. Noel has stated, quote, "Hunter just has an open window into Dance for Us chosen brains. Doesn't mean other voices can't hang out in there before hosting age. It's why we can't make you forget her." End quote.
And now the final part of our Dance for Us feature. This is our theories section. While we try to focus on the facts, focus on lore, it is also fun to delve into some speculation, and some of it can be useful, offering you things you may not have thought of before. So, Leia, since you're guesting with us, we would like to invite you to share some of your theory with us.
All right, listen up, club members. Just because Dance for Us is dead in Redacre doesn't mean our internal monologues, if you have one, have stopped chattering about what she stood for. Here are some thoughts from my own head voice, because she just doesn't shut up. The general perception of Dance for Us has been that she's a party girl, a dancing queen, a fuck the consequences, do what feels good type of voice. And on the God table, her quote is, quote, "I guess he wants thrills. Woke up still buzzed or eyes like black holes. Bite marks all over me. But yo, I had $2,000 in my gym shorts." End quote. But is that all she is? Let's dive in. In my opinion, she's about power, control, and protection, and bringing out boldness and bravery in others. If Dance for Us really was only the embodiment of party girl spirit, she would care about having a good time regardless of the consequences and nope out when things weren't fun. But we see that isn't true. If we look at Dance for Us from a macro view, we see that she is always in control. She's in control of how humans view her, i.e. the party girl, while she is secretly doing all this recon and information gathering on the old tongue. She's in control of how her siblings see her, like powerful but flighty, while being, as the idea admits, probably the most powerful and knowledgeable among them. Even the hunter said to Dance for Us, "You are strong and smarter than they think. You alone almost caught me." She uses her control of how we and the voices see her to gain power, knowledge, followers, prayers, etc. She also uses power and control to protect herself and others. And here's where things get even more interesting. In my opinion, Dance for Us is a bit of a chameleon, being exactly what people need her to be in order to bring out boldness and bravery in themselves. For example, to some she may seem like a manic pixie dream girl that inspires them to act boldly, sing and dance on the rooftops. And is she? Maybe. To others, maybe the rebel, the riot starter, the grind all night on that cop car party girl, where if they need a crazed night out with bite marks, $2,000 in their gym shorts type of experience to be brave and bold, she's got that covered. Is that what she is? Maybe. To Leia, she's a powerful, brave, calculated protector. And is she? Maybe. Or is she all that to Leia because that's what Leia needs her to be to bring out bravery and boldness? Another example of this is the fact that she was silently protecting the unknown caller while the unknown caller was being their boldest and bravest self, because unknown caller needed to believe they were doing it godless in order to be brave and bold. Null has said, quote, "Anything with demonstrable heart that unknown caller did, she, Dance for Us, was in the mix," end quote. Even in her death scene, when we see her wanting to impart knowledge and secrets to her chosen and followers, she does it under the guise of a dance party. Only after everyone is dancing and music is playing, from when an outsider's point of view it would look like party girl shenanigans, does she start talking about having secrets. When it comes down to it, her rallying speech was nothing about being a party girl. She inspired us by saying, quote, "Anyway, down to business, okay? I want you guys to know some stuff. They want you afraid, not just of them, but of yourselves, who you are. Young, and at least for now, without shame. They never had that. Can you feel that? 'Cause I can. It's change, baby. Who the fuck is Fear? I've never heard of her. But listen, y'all can crash at my place, but not before we talk, 'cause I got secrets to share," end quote. And if that doesn't inspire bravery and boldness, what does? After Dance for Us realizes that she's dead in Redacre, her first instinct is to turn to us kids and try and protect us, assure us, by saying, "Listen kids, I love you all, you'll be okay. Just remember, you fear nothing, right? Say it." With Hunt the Strong, knowing how much she embodies this balance of power and control, the fact that the hunter took that away from her was absolutely devastating, which we can see in her death scene when she says, "So, I'm dead in Redacre." It's with sadness, but not anger. But after she turns to the kids and does what she can to protect them, then she turns back to the hunter and unleashes holy word hell. Oh, and one last thing to keep in mind. Post-death, the Idea has said, "He may twist to be like her, but not in a way we would desire," talking about the hunter. Along with this chameleon theory above, we know that when the hunter ate Dance for Us, he drew some influences from her. We heard the hunter, before Dance for Us died, asking people to be strong, blah blah blah, But in an encounter with Danny after Dance for Us's death, the hunter was very invested in her, saying he will do whatever it takes for her to be her best. Now, is that influence from Dance for Us, who wanted to bring out boldness and bravery in her chosen and followers, that he would shift from wanting her to be strong to being her best? Maybe? And that is the end of this 200-page thesis from the cobwebbed crevices of my brain. Here is a quote from the I Dare about Dance for Us, post-death. "She was so far ahead of us, Leia. The old tongue, she knew so much. I wish I knew how to miss her. And you are welcome for the broken heart."
We now have a website and links to all of our guides and resources on it. This includes the newbie guide, the Lorepedia, the player terms lexicon, and more. You can find that at tinyurl.com/thedreamingprophet. Cal, Archer's Volley, and Skigulium has made a lore master doc. This is updated every Monday or so with all of the latest lore, with the help of the Dreaming Prophet, mostly Lavanya because they're amazing. You can find that at tinyurl.com/tbc loreguide v2. There's an official interaction archive on the Discord. This archives both God Talks and personal dreams. If you have transcripts or videos, please add them to the archive. There is also an option to allow your encounter to be used to support the wiki, which is heavily encouraged. Join the Discord to get involved at discord.gg/theblackoutclub. The Blackout Club is made by Question Games. Our transcript and assets are made by Lavanya. Audio editing and video is by me, Astro. Our guest today was Leia. Xaviul left this page intentionally blank.